Okay, you guys, so I am here to do a very quick recap of my July and August budgets. I did not record a video for July for a number of reasons. I posted an update about like the current state of my mental health and realities of my life at the moment and stuff. So if you want to check that out, that kind of goes into what was going on and why I didn't post a video. Short story is that's still kind of going on. I'm still kind of experiencing a bit of low energy, a little bit of depression, just some stuff going on, situational rather than like, clinical depression, I mean. And also just maybe a little bit of seasonal depression. It happens every so often, and I think it's been happening lately. But for the most part, July was a total wash. I had $23 left at the end of my budget, and as per usual, I will preface this by saying that I am not struggling for cash. This is a journey that I'm going on specifically to save extra money. I already do the pay myself method. I'm already saving month to month and investing and doing all the things, to the best of my ability within my financial situation being what it is. But at the same time, I have goals and aspirations and I need money for that. So I am trying to just save whatever I can at the end of the month after other expenses and, groceries, bills, going out, whatever. So July was a wash, and I kind of just wanted to put it behind me and accept it as it was what it was, and we move on. August was better. I had $486 left at the end of the month, which was good. That was a combination of committing to eating at home. As you all know, one of my big problems is the whole eating out situation, primarily eating out with my partner or my mom. And there were still a few occasions where I either took one or both of them out or we shared expenses, but at the same time, I made a more concerted effort to cook at home, particularly on the weekends, which is our weak point. And also, my partner is on his own, we'll call it a health journey. He had a recent appointment with the doctor a couple months ago where they told him, hey, you gotta clean up your act a little bit. He's a generally healthy person and has always been a generally healthy person, but, age and bad habits catch up to you. So he finally was like, okay, I need to change this up. And that has actually been good for me and my wallet, because we've been eating at home more and focusing more on just not spending money, not eating junk food, etc. So August was not terrible, is the short of it. I had a little bit of extra cash left out in groceries. There were $282 left at the end of the month of my budget, which was good because I am also trying to focus on buying things that are on sale, particularly, if I see a BOGO item, then that's the time to buy it, or just buying slightly more affordable cuts of meat and stuff like that, just the items that I know are, more reasonably priced, as opposed to just kind of going with the flow and not really considering prices. That's the thing I've been working on, and it's taken a while. It's been a challenge with the rising cost of everything, but it's coming along. I only went over my dining out budget by $100 this month. So as I said, it was about midway through the month that we made that concerted effort to change our act. And finally, he was on board, which was the bigger challenge before. Was when you have a partner who isn't necessarily on board, it's really hard to stick to it. Not making excuses, but it's just the reality. I did have a couple of clothing purchases, but I still had $26 remaining of the $50 that I budget every month for that. I went over by $8 in my self-care fund because I cut my hair. I won't take it down because it looks a mess right now, but I did cut my hair. My coffee budget was within budget. My all my other expenses were paid off as planned. I didn't have any tolls this month, so that was good. Cat supplies, I did go over a little bit because I ended up having to buy extra food. Figgy had to go to the vet and required a prescription food, so I did go over budget in that area, but it was by $30, really, rounded up. so not terrible. Once again, I will, as always, sing the praises of cat pet insurance, because after a couple of experiences without pet insurance, I can say that it has really come in very handy. Okay, so we did go out on a date. I just still had $25 left over on that, and by we go out on a date, it doesn't mean that we just take a date once a month. It's just that I like to plan at least like one treat yourself day out, or one treat yourself activity. So I have been budgeting about $100 for that, and we stayed within budget and went under. I did not need any beauty or skincare replacements, so like no shampoos, lotions, etc. that needed to be replaced. I do have some now this month that will be coming up, but I have not done my September budgeting yet. Miscellaneous expenses, I did have a few. I finally bought the printer. I finally sucked it up. If you guys have been following along from the beginning of this journey, I was debating whether or not it was worth it to buy a printer or keep paying for print jobs. At this point, the cost of the printer and ink was less than paying for the print jobs at FedEx. So I bought a tiny printer. It's doing fine. I have the automatic HP instant ink thing. It works out a lot better than having to pay for printing, so that was perfect. And there was recently, sometimes I'll print stuff at work if I can at least justify that it relates to work. So like my planner, I use it for work as well, so I was printing those there. But they've recently changed the printers, and I'm glad that I'm no longer going to be relying on them, because that's something I don't want to deal with. I did not buy any books, so that was good. And apartment maintenance, I did have to spend a little bit, but not much. It was $10 for an item for the rest of the bathroom that needed to be replaced. Medicines, I did go over by $30. My prescription Synthroid has temporarily been changed as just an effort. My doctor, if you do watch that other video that I recorded as an update, I was planning to speak to my endocrinologist about my just general low energy and health stuff that I've been noticing. He did agree to put me on the next dose of my medication for 2 months and see how that goes, which means that one, it's a little bit more expensive because a 30-day prescription refill is always more expensive than a 90-day, but I already have like maybe like 50 pills that I may or may not end up taking if I don't go back to the old prescription, so I didn't want to challenge myself to spend more money if I didn't need to. So we went with 30 days. So that was that. Everything else was just the usual. And let's see. Doctor's visits, I had that doctor's visit, so I did budget for that. It was in there. And that was it really. So I did not really like go over in most of my categories. Just the few that I mentioned. So it was actually a good month, and I'm hoping that September will pan out in a similar vein. So far, even though I haven't tallied the stuff yet, I think the one area that I'm struggling a little bit, at least in terms of cost this month, has been groceries. I have purchased a few items that were a little bit more expensive than before, and I'll have to purchase another prescription refill of my medication this month, also with the slightly higher costs, so that is happening. I don't foresee too much as far as going over in the eating out category, because we are very much like sticking to the plan, and he is particularly concerned because he has his doctor's appointment coming up, so he wants to be like really eating clean, and I'm like, yay, good for me, good for my wallet. So there's that. But overall, it seems to be going along well. One of the big issues that came up last month, which goes back to this whole situation and why I'm doing this, is that we did in fact try to buy a house and could not. So that did not happen. It did, however, trigger a lot of feelings, both for him and I, and just a lot of, long buried emotions tied to my growing up, my finances, poverty, etc. I've talked about before, I had a very challenging upbringing as far as money goes, and that is a very complicated, triggering topic for me to discuss, so it brought up a lot of those feelings. what I can say is that I have amazing, exceptional credit according to all of the loan officers. However, we just do not have what we needed to put downs and closing costs, at least. Even with some of the offers, even with the special loans, we are both too rich and too poor for this economy. So we are sort of like maxed out of some of the grant programs, but also don't make enough to justify the cost of housing around here. Yeah, so we are revisiting that maybe next summer. He has to do some work on his end, and I have to just keep doing what I'm doing. See what we can do. But it was eye-opening, but also not surprising, is what I'll say. I knew how bad it would be just because of the cost of homes around here. Houses have risen in Miami to a ridiculous amount. Like, these houses are not worth what they're going for, but you can't. Where are you going to get housing from otherwise? It's all that's available. So our options are really looking at like a condo or a townhouse, which I'm fine with. He's more reluctant because he prefers, a single family unit. I don't care really that much what kind of housing it is, as long as it's, nice and comfortable and provides what I need and feels safe and stable. Stable being the key word for me, at least in terms of finances. So we both have a lot to work on, not the least of which is with, his spending on things. So we're doing what we're doing and trying to see where we can circle back on this topic. One of the loan officers is going to reach out in March. They were one of the places we were considering going with because they had a very nice offer and they were super helpful. There were 2 places of the 4 that we were looking into that were like particularly helpful. Like, these people were getting nothing out of us, but they were just so helpful in helping us figure out like what we could afford and what we could, feasibly pay month to month and still have a life. So we're probably going to go with one of those 2, but one of them suggested reaching out again in March and seeing where we are. So I said, sure, it'll keep us on our toes and hopefully something will change. I want better than what I have, but I'm also not willing to sink myself into a house that I can't afford. Like, I'm practical and I'm realistic, and I do not want to be like house rich but life poor. So that's where we stand. So that is it for our July/August update. I know this is super late, but like I said, I've been kind of struggling with the mentals, we'll just say, and I've also just been really caught up in writing. My edits are going apace and I'm trying to streamline my process as much as possible, so a lot of stuff has just kind of fallen by the wayside because if I only have so much time to give, I'm really focusing the bulk of my energy on editing. But that is an update for another day. I will leave you guys here and hopefully check in with a September update much closer to the actual end of the month, but no promises because life is tricky and work is busy. So I'll see you guys later. Have a great one and see you next time. Bye.